Ted Cruz is a huge bigot. He's a piece of crap. And his job is to divide us so that we hate each other. And of course, all this is in service of Israel.
New York is run by crazy people. Mamdani, if he's elected, is a Marxist. And you are going to see people who believe in free enterprise, people who believe in property rights, people who don't want a jihadist radical who wants to defund the police, fleeing New York City.
At a time when there are calls to tone down the rhetoric and the vitriol due to increased political violence, Senator Ted Cruz has decided to refer to the leading candidate for New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani, as a jihadist, which of course he's not, obviously. Jake, I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't understand jihadists well, right? Do jihadists believe in equal rights for transgender people?
So you can't have it both ways. Exactly right, Anna.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a wild radical left guy who is in favor of gay rights, trans rights, etc. And he's a jihadist who wants to wait. That doesn't make any sense, right? So look, I'll say one thing and then I want to hear the rest of the story. We're told that if you say anything against Israel, let alone Jewish people, you're the deepest, most bigoted anti-Semite in the world. This guy willy-nilly throws out, oh, he's Muslim, I'll just call him a jihadist.
Yeah, 100%, that's right.
So I don't like the word Islamophobe. I kind of off-putting and weird, and I don't know that they're afraid of us, right? But Ted Cruz is a huge bigot. He's a piece of crap, and his job is to divide us so that we hate each other. And of course, all this is in service of Israel, because Israel wants Mamdani eliminated, so they send Ted Cruz out there, their bitch,
right,
to go attack him and call him names.
And Mamdani has said on multiple occasions that he respects and wants to honor international law. And given the fact that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is wanted for the war crimes and atrocities he has carried out, and that's according to the International Criminal Court, he would in fact arrest Netanyahu if Mamdani is mayor and Netanyahu visits New York, which, by the way, the UN General Assembly was just held in New York City. So Israel doesn't like that, as you can imagine. Now, this does raise an important question. Is Cruz speaking for himself or his donors? I think we've kind of made ourselves clear on where we land on that. But why don't we take a quick look, a little gander at the AIPAC tracker, which shows that Ted Cruz has collected nearly $2 million from the pro-Israel lobby, and that is as of January of this year. Okay, so I'm sure the cash is talking, as my dad would say.
And let me just jump in, because one day when you were out this week, we covered the story of the head of the Chamber of Commerce. I think that's what her position was, representing the business community in New York. She was on CNBC, and they asked her, "Oh, are you guys opposed to Mamdani because of the taxes and etc., the business interests?" And she's like, "No, it's mainly Israel."
That's amazing.
And she just says it.
Wow, that is such an admission, like just openly admitting that?
Openly admitting it. Oh, business interests. Yeah, I'm pretending to represent business interests, but I'll tell you on air, no, this is all about Israel. Same thing with TikTok. Oh, China, China, China. And then they say, oh yeah, on air. Yeah, no, it's about Israel.
He would be the mayor. He's like,
no, you know why, guys? So Anna, here's why.
That's so crazy.
So you know why? Because the mayor of New York has nothing to do with Israel, and has nothing to do with our foreign policy. So it's not like it hurts Israel's interest if the mayor of Kansas City or Topeka or New York is Muslim. It doesn't matter at all, right?
Right.
But the reason why AIPAC and Israel is so obsessed with this is twofold. Number one, he has defied Israel. Normally in an election for mayor of New York, you must bow your head to Israel. First of all, normally in almost any election in America, but certainly for New York mayor, and he didn't bow his head. And
That's
so
true.
It's driving the Israelis crazy. And it's, to be fair to them, it's also strategy. They say if he defies us and wins, then we're not invincible.
100%.
And we need all of the politicians in America to kneel before Israel. And since he didn't kneel, if he wins, that's a big problem for us.
It's a problem because it shows that the favorability toward Israel at any and all costs is not It doesn't exist anymore, at least not to the same extent.
Exactly, and then the second problem for the Israeli lobby on Mamdani is also overwhelming. New York is one of the highest concentration of Jewish Americans, or Jews, period, anywhere in the world, right? Second most Jewish city in the world, right? And so a lot of the young Jewish voters voted for Mamdani. So now they're worried on 2 counts. My God, if we lose in New York, that means AIPAC can lose anywhere. Now, so that sends a clarion call to everyone. They're not invincible. They're not invincible. You can even beat them in New York with tons and tons and tons of Jewish voters. And now it comes the critical part of that. So when they call everybody anti-Semites, it's not going to work as well if New York voted for a Muslim mayor.
Yeah, it's a great point.
And a Muslim mayor that was defying Israel, right?
So I want to make a broader point, not just about what's going down in New York City, but you have to admit that over the last at least decade, national politics has basically taken over local politics. And I think that's a problem, right? And the reason why that's a problem is because local politics and local policies, state and local policies, have a bigger impact on your day-to-day life. And so when there's pressure on political candidates on a local level to weigh in on matters that they have no control over and wouldn't have any governing decisions over, I feel like that actually hurts the constituents in these cities and these states, because there should actually be like a full accounting and a debate about what their policies are and how it would impact local communities, right?
Yeah, instead we have moderators, as they happen in those primary debates, insisting that each candidate show obedience to Israel. And when Mamdani didn't, the moderators freaked out. They asked follow-up after follow-up. They're like, are you saying you won't visit Israel? What does Israel have to do with Topeka or New York? Why does the media insist that everyone, even including politicians that have nothing to do with foreign policy, show that they are loyal and obedient to a foreign government? And we're all sick of it. It's ludicrous. Yeah. By the way, Anna, also on we're talking about the jihadist thing because it's so offensive, but he's not a Marxist. There's a difference between socialist and Marxist. Please learn the words. And New York is run by crazy people. Now, if you said Texas is run by crazy people, they take your head off. Oh, you hate Republicans, etc. But they say it about New York. They say it about democratic cities all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, to your point about civility, none of this is civil.
No, none of it is civil. But look, I want to go to what Cenk had referenced earlier. I had not seen this video, so I'm very excited to see it. So what Cenk was referring to is a woman by the name of Kathy Wild. She is the president and the CEO of the Partnership for New York. And here's what she had to say in regard to Mamdani and why she's adamantly against him.
And then there's the Bibi Netanyahu stuff about, when he says, that he's going to have him arrested by the NYPD, which is of course completely against federal law. And I think there's a lot of people who are Jewish in this city, irrespective of your views about Israel and this and that, who say that it sends a signal that there's something, that there's a anti-Semitic view that's being espoused underneath all of this.
Yeah, and that is the single biggest issue, I think.
You think that is?
Absolutely.
That or the police?
No, I think the anti-Semitic view. New York is a city that has a long history relationship with Israel. Our investors funded the whole startup nation, the building of Israel, et cetera. I think that's a big issue.
That is insane. That is insane. First of all, the implication here that Zohran Mamdani is an anti-Semite is disgusting because there's no indication of that whatsoever. In fact, I want you to hear from his own mouth in a video that actually went viral this week, because yesterday on The View, Sarah Haynes asked Mamdani to comment on his inflammatory statements about Israel. Take a look.
Millions of New Yorkers, myself included, care deeply about what's happening in Israel and Palestine. And so to be very, very clear, of course I condemn Hamas. Of course I've called October 7th what it was, which is a horrific war crime. And of course, my belief in a universality in international law is also the same set of beliefs that have led me to describe what's happening in Gaza as a genocide. Because what we see is a war crime being answered with war crimes. And what we see is every single hour, the Israeli military killing a Palestinian child for close to 2 years. And it's a horror that many New Yorkers feel so deeply.
And recognizing that people do disagree with you.
Absolutely.
I am one of those people on some of these points.
Absolutely,
So.
and that you're disagreeing with me doesn't mean that you shouldn't be in the city or you shouldn't be celebrated and part of the city that I'm trying to lead. I want to be a mayor, not just for the people who voted for me, not just for the people who agree with me, but every New Yorker. And that means that if a New Yorker disagrees with me about Israel, I'm still fighting for them to make sure that they can afford this city, be safe in this city, and see the city as their home.
And today, in wake of a horrific terrorist attack on a synagogue in Manchester, Zohran Mamdani defended Jews in New York City again. I want to give you his statement. On the holiest day in the Jewish year, an anti-Semitic attack at a synagogue in England has taken the lives of 2 and gravely injured others. My thoughts are with the victims and their families. While this terrible violence occurred an ocean away, a very real fear casts a shadow here too. I appreciate Governor Hochul's calls to increase state police presence at synagogues. As mayor, I will do everything in my power to protect Jewish New Yorkers, as I will every faith community. The right to worship in peace is sacred. Cenk.
Yeah, so 2 things. Number 1, she says, you've said some inflammatory statements about Israel. So killing 20,000 kids, not inflammatory. Saying that they killed 20,000 kids factually, correctly, empirically is inflammatory. Like the people on TV, they have no idea how racist they sound. They're like, oh, you have offended some supporters of Israel by accurately calling it a genocide. The genocide, not a problem at all. We never discuss it. We never call it a genocide. None of the anchors have ever called it a genocide. None of them ever will. None of them have ever shown any compassion, not an ounce of compassion for over 65,000 dead Palestinians, right? But they say that's not a problem at all. But the mayor saying that he cares about all people equally, Israelis and Palestinians, inflammatory. Okay, so now the second part's very important. So today, as Anna was pointing out, there was an attack at Heaton Park Hebrew Congregation Synagogue in the UK, and 3 people were killed on Yom Kippur. It's an abomination.
Is the death toll now 3?
That's what I read. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Jeez.
so, and we'll update you guys. We'll get you, the most accurate numbers we can. But that's what I read earlier today. Okay, so guys, we are for nonviolence and for peace. So if anyone that is upset, for example, by Israel's actions, takes violent actions, well, how does that help? Hate begets hate. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can. So if all you do is you hate Israelis or you hate the people on the other side, you're never gonna get to the right answer because you're on the wrong road. So if you're for nonviolence and peace globally and on a state level, you should be for nonviolence and peace at a local level and in your personal life. So if you do any act of physical violence, that is a betrayal of the peace movement.
Absolutely.
It's a betrayal of all of our principles, because our principles isn't unlike the other side, one side is superior to the other side. No, our principles are that we are all equal and we want to protect everyone. I would never want an Israeli harmed, and I would hope that they wouldn't want Palestinians harmed. Unfortunately, that hope has not been met. But our job is not to get people to hate or attack Israelis, let alone innocent Jews that have done absolutely nothing wrong, right? Our job is to reduce the violence, reduce the hate, and get to a place where we can live and exist peacefully together.
Totally agree. So the death toll is still at 2. I just wanted to update you guys on that. 3 others are still seriously wounded. So obviously we'll keep an eye on the story, and if there are any other developments, we'll let you know.